New World might be my new MMO. What I mean by that is New World will be my main game. I will play other games, but I will always return to New World. And I say it might be my new MMO because I want to see it on release before I can say for certain. But I've been playing the beta and I've been loving it. I think about it when I go to sleep, and playing the game is the first thing I want to do when I wake up. This video is about why it might be my new MMO, and why I've been enjoying the beta. I'll start with an important part about the game that distinguishes itself from other MMOs. No classes, only playstyles. There are no classes in the game, only weapons and attributes, so you have more freedom in how you approach the roles of healer, DPS and tank. The weapons in the game are fairly unique, and some lend themselves to a playstyle better than others. Like sword and shield is better for tanking than a musket is. And the life staff is basically the healer staff. Personally, during the beta, I've fallen in love with a spear. Sweeping the leg, throwing my spear in a guy's face, spinning it around like a helicopter. I don't know, there's just nothing quite like shoving your erect pole into another man. And the armor looks really cool, and personally I'm gonna try my hardest to look like a Warhammer witch hunter. There's not much more to tell, it's cool. Now, the combat and PvE. I've been waiting for quite a while for a good action combat MMO. Sure, there was Black Desert, but Black Desert's combat is just a little bit too much for my taste. I don't really want to feel like a god blasting through my enemies. I want it to be a bit of a struggle. And that's what I feel in New World. It's a bit of a struggle just fighting the basic enemies. I want to be clear, I'm not saying it's hard. I'm saying that I have to at least be awake at the keyboard to avoid taking huge damage or even dying. Of course, it's kinda level dependent on how challenging it is, but you can be a level 20 in a level 27 zone and survive. If you have a quest in that zone, you could complete it. It just depends on your skill, or your ability to cheese the game, like I've done when I soloed the corruption event. Corruption events are these PvE events that happen seemingly randomly on the map. They're recommended for 5 people, however, me, with a substantial amount of food and a life staff, managed to solo it by running around and shooting them, hiding behind the terrain and running while passive healing from the food. Could the combat system have more depth? Sure, all you have is a dodge, a block, a light attack, a heavy attack, and 3 abilities for each weapon. But even then you could say that with a lot of shooters that all you have is a shoot button, and maybe a melee or grenade button. I think with the tools here there is a lot to have fun with, and since you can switch weapons and use the 3 abilities for that weapon, I think there is a lot of room here for tactical thinking and outplays to be made. Like I could be fighting an enemy with my rapier and dodge away and throw out my bear trap ability and then shoot him in the face a couple of times. I think this game will give you the opportunity to really show off your skill. Let's go back to the corruption events a second. They are a great idea. MMOs are community-based games, and this is something that could make people group up and defeat these events. And then maybe some of those people will continue to play together. There are also dungeons. I played the Amrin expedition when I was level 23, and I found it to be an enjoyable 20 minutes. It's a bit hard to keep track of what the enemies are doing when everyone is grouped together, but as a DPS off healer, I tended to keep to the sides of my enemies or behind them, so that I wouldn't get hit. Before I go into the PvP, I want to mention something about the quests. I have not been seeing much variety there. It's mostly just go here and gather this, or go here and kill 8 of these, or go here and kill this specific character. So in the future I'm hoping for some variety, but it's mostly fine as is. Mostly. I'm also excited to try the invasions, the Horde Castle defense mode. However, I wish the invasions were just an open world attack on the town. It would be awesome, epic and really poggers as the kids say. PvP/community. War! Huh! What is it good for? Well, it's good for a lot of fun, actually. New World is a territory control game. There are 3 factions: the Syndicate, the Covenant, and the Marauders. I chose the Syndicate because I like the color purple. And science and magic, I guess. So, if I engage in PvP, I would have to kill the greens and yellows. Well, I say have to, I get to kill them. After all, they chose the wrong color, so they deserve death now. So yeah, if you didn't choose Syndicate, then you're wrong and also a doo-doo head. If I wanna engage in PvP, I'm gonna have to activate PvP in a sanctuary by pressing the U button. If you go out solo, you are very likely to get the first year college girl experience. That is, getting spit roasted by 2 guys and getting sent back to your settlement with nothing but shame and regret. If you wanna avoid this, you go into your faction chat and ask for PvP groups. Your fellow faction members are very likely to add you to an existing group or form a new group with you so you can grind those PvP quests to build up enough influence to be able to declare war for a territory. And I did plenty of that, and I started to recognize and remember some names over time. I also joined some discords. So in this game, grouping up, finding people, and forming some connections feels like you need to take such a small step to achieve it. One of our forts was once under attack and I came to help defend it. But the greens that were attacking it were just running around like headless chickens. So it wasn't much of a battle, just a mild slaughter. So we went to do some PvP quests to gather influence, and from what I experienced in Everfall, the PvP missions were always the same and always the same route. So I'm hoping for variety here in the future. There is a PvP VE mode called Outpost Rush. And I didn't get to play that, and that makes me pretty sad. It looks so fun. I can't wait to play it. Oh, my penis solidifies at the prospect. Let's go back to that war part. So you grind enough influence and your faction can declare war for a territory. But who can declare war? Well, one of your faction's companies can do that. And if a bunch of companies took part in grinding influence, then it's random which company gets to declare war. And there was one time where we could declare war on a territory, but we had no idea which company could declare war. So it would be nice to get a feature where we can see which company can declare war. But what's war like? Well, it's chaotic to say the least. You have 100 people, with 50 of them attacking and 50 defending a fort. I was on the attacking side, so we had to capture 3 points and then breach the gates and then capture a point in the fort. And the whole time there are bullets and cannonballs flying everywhere, and people running around and fighting. And the whole time you really feel like Batman. I mean, you really feel like you're in a siege. Of course, cannons and turrets are king, so right away I saw that the best strategy was to just shoot the people in the turrets. And once we got our turrets up on our point, we plowed through the enemy ranks and got the point pretty quickly. So it revolves a lot around the turrets instead of individual players, in my opinion. But still, it was a really fun 30 minutes. But I got really shit loot from it. The devs need to take a look at that. Bringing it back to the factions a little bit. The Covenant wasn't doing so hot. Poor guys. I think the PvP, the factions and the territory systems create great excuses for you to group up and really get involved in the community, and maybe even make some friends and then invite them into your in-game house for tea or a common regeneration potion. Crafting. There is a great crafting system here. You can craft weapons, armor, food, furniture, ammo, tools, and potions. However, in my experience during the beta, the weapons and armors I could craft did not keep up with my current level. I've always liked the idea of crafting my own gear. Maybe I just didn't go hard enough into crafting, or maybe the developers need to do some adjusting to the weapon and armor smithing. Anyway, I really like that if I want to, I can just spend my day crafting in the game, or I can take a break from the harshness of the world and just do some fishing. Isn't this nice? Just some calm, relaxing fishing. Letting the cool breeze of the fan on your desk blow in your face as you sit in your underwear in your mother's basement. She may be disappointed in you for flunking college/high school, but hey, at least your company members like you. There's quite a bit of running in the game, which gets boring pretty fast. So for me, I tended to break up the monotony of running by gathering crafting supplies when I was going from place to place. With the running around, I think that developers need to take a look at how they could improve that aspect of the game. With the fast traveling, it is a bit annoying that I have to be in a sanctuary in order to fast travel, and the fast traveling costs ass off, and I never really ran out of ass off. I was constantly almost reaching the cap on ass off. In conclusion, the crafting system gives you more to do and gives you a way to make some money on the auction house. You could also just gather ingredients and sell them on the auction house for money. You could also just level up with crafting. You get good XP from crafting, and this is great. I love that. This is just miscellaneous problems or issues I ran into the game while I was playing the beta. They need to take a look at the spawn rates. I hate the hunt sheep quest because it always takes so long trying to find them. I could be looking for 30 minutes and only find one, so maybe they should spawn more sheep. It was a beta, so obviously there are a variety of bugs and performance issues, but I'm fairly optimistic that they will get resolved quickly. There is no lower level PvP mode. They want PvP to be in the open world, and I agree with that. But currently the incentive for turning on PvP is pretty low. A 5% XP bonus is pretty worthless. It would be nice to engage in PvP in a sort of controlled environment, both early in the game and late. They could even introduce an in-world gladiator match, kinda like the Gurubashi arena in World of Warcraft, and maybe have rewards and people could come watch and participate. Maybe have a little tournament. I think that would be fun. Specifically, the vision in my head for this would be something like the Roman Colosseum. I couldn't flag for PvP because I had a PvP quest, which is the stupidest thing I have ever seen. And possibly my biggest annoyance, why do I need to stop to look at my inventory? I just want to take a quick look at my gear. Why do I need to stop running to do that? Being able to go over my inventory is something I want to do while I'm auto-running from place to place. Conclusion. With everything in the game there will be plenty for you to do. Weapons to level up, you to level up, friendships to make, and builds to try. And maybe becoming the greatest blacksmith the New World would ever see. There's also local voice chat, and I fucking love that. I don't understand why it's used so little in games. It's such a fun feature. There was a guy running around in an area I was in, and so I talked to him just, "Hey, what quest you on?" Then he told me, and then I helped him. And then he helped me with my quest. And maybe you could be doing PvP and talking shit to the enemy while you kill them. You can also go prone in the game, so you can go in a bush and lie down to ambush your enemies. Whether or not New World becomes my new MMO boils down to the developers fixing the issues with the game and listening to the community about what should change. And also maintain good balance between the weapons. This is important. From what I've heard, I'm really optimistic about their willingness to do that. There will also need to be more content, more quests, just in general more content in the game to really seal the deal. The game was delayed again, and you know, it sucks to have to wait longer for the game, but to me this is good news. It means that the developers are willing to take their time to make their game better, instead of rushing it out for the money. And it means we get a more stable and better game on launch day. A little side note here, the game looks really good, and you can find some pretty good scenery with a great lighting in the game. And the music is great. I've been listening to it while I'm doing other stuff, and it's really good. I might even add it to my studying playlist. I've been having a lot of fun with what is already here, and I expect I'll have a lot of fun with it for a while. It's just that the future feels a little up in the air for me. I'm really excited to see what the developers have in store for us in the future, and I look forward to taking over the world with my Syndicate brothers and sisters.